Yeah, because you mentioned how like that serving aspect where you want to make it easier for them. You want to show, like, you know what I mean? That's how you provide, like, how are you providing value to that person?
Exactly.
Right? So, like, how are you able to construct that to ultimately leading to you like with HITBOY, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like signing with him. So
I was an assistant engineer, but while I was a runner, HITBOY was booked in Studio G over here, and they asked for a Chick-fil-A run, right? So I came, took the order, and then I let them know, like, hey, I've been a big fan of you. Like, I'm born in '87 too.
Oh yeah.
You know, we're I'm gonna work with you one day. And then he was like, yeah, that's what's up. And then I went on the run, and that's when I realized, like, this is my opportunity to just make a good impression. And then I ended up being like the fastest Chick-fil-A ever, Chick-fil-A run of all time. You know what I mean? Like, hey, there's no official record of it, but if you want to see me, come see me. You feel me?
Oh man,
I did that run, came back like 15 minutes or something like that, and then they were so shocked that I was back already. His manager at the time was like, "Yo, what do? Do you produce?" And I was like, "No, I'm an engineer." And he was like, "Let me get your number." He took my number down, and then didn't call me until like I was an assistant engineer / engineer, right? And then so after assistant engineer, you're engineer, and the way that I climbed that or leveled up from there was one of the engineers at Chalice. He was on vacation for like a month. So in that month, I was the next man up, and I basically worked all the sessions that he was supposed to be on.
Oh.
Yeah. And then the client started asking for me. So it kind of caused a stir up, you know what I mean? Because the dude got back, and then she kept giving me these sessions, and it's like they asked for him, like, what can we do?
Literally,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can't be like, oh no, he can't because he's an assistant. Here's some other guy, you know.
Ain't gonna say that to nobody.
Yeah,
no
so
artist.
that's kind of how, like, you know, I got my confidence going, and she started giving me more sessions because obviously if I'm getting requested, that means I'm doing a good job.
You're in demand.
Right. So I was, if they had their own engineers, I was an assistant. If they didn't have an engineer, I'm an engineer. So that's how it worked. And then while I was doing that, Hit's manager called me. It's like, hey, can you come through this day?
So kind of like
it's
side,
almost like
on the side. Okay.
Yeah. So I pulled up to his studio, and I got right on there. And after that, he kept calling me. Right. And then there was like a conflict of interest because he would call me, and I'm like, no, I'm booked that day.
Yeah,
I'm on
this
this
is
session.
technically your priority. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then it happened enough times where he was like, what can we do to just lock you down?
Oh.
You know? And I gave him my list of demands, and he met them, and then that's when I left Chalice.
Jeez, because at this point, you've worked with, like, you've already like established yourself, right? And like I heard in your other news, people were seeking you out, like DJ Khaled, Kish Cole, like, so people were already seeking you, and you were actually like, you were not even like flirting with that option at that time, right?
I mean, I thought about it.
Oh, you thought about it?
I mean? Like, but I just wanted to go somewhere where I can build, and it'll be more of like a homie relationship more than like an employee-employer relationship.
Of course.
So I mean, I've been studying up on HIT, and I've researched.
Man, excuse my language, like niggas in Paris, like, come on, like the list goes on and on.
Exactly. So he's already my favorite producer. So it's like, why would I work for some other guy that I'm not even a fan of?
Of course.
You know? So
of course.
So I went with HIT, and then that was a challenge in itself because I'm leaving like this stability, the constantly working with A-list artists. Every day it's someone new, you know. Like one day it's John Legend, next day it's Ariana Grande, next day it's like Post Malone. Like it'd be like that. And then for me to leave that, to take a leap of faith, and at that time, it was I don't know. There was a lot of things going on in my head, but then something told me to take that chance, you know. So I made that move. And then the rest is history.
Jeez.
Yeah, and then we came back and got our own rooms at Chalice. So
came full circle, right? Because you said you weren't in the studio, right? You were at his place, right? Like recording there and doing work there, right? Daily. Wow. Could you talk about how this opened up? Because like I think it was like
we booked a session in Chalice to mix for 03 Greedo. And then while we were here, Sandra was like, "Hey, do you know anyone that wants to rent Studio E?" The person that was there, he was here for like 15 years. He had this room, he had HITBOY's room, and then he had this office back here.
Wow.
So there was no thought of him even leaving. But then I guess he built a studio in his crib, and it just made more sense. And then I was like, "Oh, let me ask Hit," you know. And then she gave us like a super good price. Ooh. And then originally I was just gonna take this room, and then I didn't know who was gonna have that room. But then I asked Hit, and he was like, "Yeah, I want it." So you know, and after that we went crazy. Like being here is the best thing in the world.
Game changer, right?
For me, it reminds me every day of what I had to go through to be here. You know what I mean?
You're literally walking through the halls that you used to be wiping your shit.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Like I go to the bathroom. I'm like, damn, I remember cleaning piss off this toilet. You know, now I'm pissing in it. Like, it's a good daily reminder.
No doubt.
You know, every time I go grab a water, I'm like, damn, I used to stack these waters up. Like, I pull up into the parking lot. I think about when I used to clean up the parking lot. You know,
just constant living reminders.
Exactly.
Right.
And then for Hit, it's like a great opportunity to be around everybody, because Chalice is always popping with like
that energy you feed off of, right?
Yeah. Look, people just pop in. Like if they're booked on the other side of the studio, they'll just pop in on Hit, get a beat from him, or do a song, go back to their studio. Someone else that's booked in G will come in. Like it's constantly that, and that's why he's been able to go on such a crazy run this year.